Okay, in this video, I'm going to share some of my secrets to stay loose, so let's go ahead and jump right in. Today, I'm working with the Pilot Kukuno fountain pen, which I really like when doing these loose sketches because of the way that the ink flows out. It's really easy to make a clean line without any effort or pressure. Now, you'll see that the first thing I'm going to do is to rough out the outline of the building shape. I don't have to be precise here with my lines because at any point I can go back and correct them, which you're going to see me do on some of the lines. Now, I do like to draw the main corner of the building early on, and after that, I'm just going to go back over the sketch and add in some major elements, like a telephone pole. Now it's just a matter of working inward. That is to say that I tend to start broad with major shapes and then start to refine those shapes or add my secondary elements, which is what I'm doing now. I'm looking for major doorways, windows, or other architectural features that stand out. You'll notice that I'm taking time to make sure that I have some of my line placement correct. This can be tricky, but it's okay to slow down to make sure you're getting your elements in the right spot. Moving too fast here can cause issues later on. Now, this is about the time in the sketch that I'm going to start to refine those lines. The previous line work was just a general placement. Now, with a few strokes, I'm just going to go back over every line to refine the positioning while adding some additional detail. Now, this detail could be the window frames or just added definitions to the awnings or the doorways. Now, sometimes I will complete this stage fully before moving on and adding texture, but for this sketch, I am going to be working on one side of the building at a time. That is to say that I plan on finishing the detail before I move over to the other side. Now, there is no rhyme or reason to why I'm doing this. I just started to draw the detail and I'm really enjoying that texture, so I decided to finish the right side first. Now, speaking of texture, you can see that I am going to be adding all of the fine texture to the side as well. That means I'm going to be taking my time to work out my detailed line work in these different areas, like the covered doorways here and in the windows when I move up on this building. Now, another little trick to get some fine detail work is to use the back side of your pen, which you'll see me often do in these small sketches. Okay, I want to take a minute to talk about the windows that I'm drawing. You'll notice that I'm drawing lines across the face of the building trying to match the perspective, and I'm drawing them at an equal distance apart. Drawing evenly spaced lines is just something that takes practice to do quickly, so again, as I mentioned earlier, it's okay to work slow to make sure your lines are accurate. But I do want to say that mistakes are okay, and they're going to happen. For example, you can see that I didn't hit my perspective lines, so those perspectives are off on the face of the building. But by the time the sketch is complete, most of those mistakes will be diminished or go completely unnoticed. Now, as I wrap up the right side of the building, I will move over to the left side, and I'm going to start to use the same process to refine my lines and add that secondary detail as well as any necessary textures. Now I want to take a minute to talk about my reference photo. I really like to find reference photos that have a mix of textures and lines, and I think these add interest to it and help break up the sketch. Now, for these sketches, I have made the deliberate decision to include hatch lines for my shaded areas, so you will notice that on some of the building faces, I'll add some vertical hatch lines to help imply value. Generally speaking, hatch lines should follow the face of the surface that you're drawing them on. Now, this isn't always the case, but for the most part, on my sketches, you'll notice that I follow that rule. Now, I'm going to continue to add more detail around the elements in my scene. I don't need to get too precise, I just need to add enough detail to suggest a feature, like these windows with an overhang. Now, deciding how much detail you want to add to your scene does take time and practice. Over the course of drawing dozens and dozens of these urban scenes, I've experimented with different levels of detail and also at different scale. And it's just something that you kind of get used to. It becomes ingrained in you, and you need to go through the mistake of overdoing it or underdoing it to get a comfortable idea of knowing what works and what doesn't. Now, sometimes I will still try to add too much fine detail to a scene that doesn't need it, but I'm okay with that. As I mentioned earlier, mistakes are okay, but more importantly, they're also learning opportunities. Okay, I'm going to continue to work in some of the detail on the side of this building here, and I'm really not trying to be exact with the small detail work. Oftentimes, my goal here is just to get the lines down in the general spots, just to imply texture or to give the impression of some more detailed line work. This is often the case when I draw a roof line or window frames, where I'm just doubling up my lines to imply detail. I'm not really trying to capture anything specific. Okay, the last thing I'm going to do with this section of the building is to add the corrugated metal texture. And I'm just using hatch lines to imply texture here. I do enjoy drawing hatch lines, so this is a fun texture for me to draw. Okay, I'm going to start to wrap up the last detail work on my building by finishing up the roof line and then working on the section of the building that's kind of tucked away back behind everything. And then you'll see me move over to finishing up my telephone pole. Now, I've said this before, but I really like scenes that have some depth to them. Some type of layering of elements, like this telephone pole or a tree that might sit in front of my building. These layers add interest to the sketch and helps to navigate the viewer's eyes around the sketch. Now, once I've completed the building, I'm going to draw out my rough shadow lines and then I'll move over to coloring. Now, as far as coloring goes, I am using my Copic sketch alcohol markers, and these markers work really well when you layer them. They do a really good job blending into one another, so you don't get those really obvious marker lines. Now, I'm going to start with my base colors and try to work them into the major areas of my scene, and then from there I'll start to introduce new colors to hopefully push those colors closer to my reference photo. Now, I'm also trying to be aware of the values in my scene. So for instance, some of the darker areas, I'm going to start to select darker colors to try to get those values to match. Now, one trick about coloring is that if you can match the values or the contrast in your scene, it's going to turn out better even if you don't get the colors right. So one of the things that I'll often try to do is to do a deliberate pass at only looking at the values, rather than trying to match the color. Okay, there's a little bit of weathered texture here on the front of this facade, and I wanted to capture that, so you'll see me take a couple of passes as I start to add more colors to the front of the building. Now, I do like to jump around a lot with my coloring, so I won't necessarily complete a single section in one go. Rather, I'll come back to the section over the course of the entire sketch, which is what you're seeing me do now. I mentioned adding values to the scene, and what you're seeing me do now is to attempt to get some of those variations in the contrast into the front windows of the building. Because there are so many different panels of windows, it was a little bit of a tedious effort, but if you're like me and enjoy the process, then it shouldn't be an issue at all. Okay, as you can see, I'm coming back to this front area to add some more texture. I'm just adding a few marks of color so that I don't overdo it. It is tricky to try to capture color detail on a small scale like this, but really the trick is to only capture the values of the texture. That is to say that I'm only trying to put down color in the areas that have the darkest spots. I'm not really trying to make it look exact. Okay, once I have all of my main colors down, I am going to go back over everything with different shades of gray to introduce more value and contrast. This is going to really help set apart those elements and add definition to my sketch. Now, admittedly, I will take some liberties with how much contrast I add when I'm starting to do that step. These little extra areas that I'm embellishing the contrast in, I think really help make the image pop. Okay, now the very last step that I'll do is to introduce my deep blue purple shades. Now, I don't necessarily do this for every building, but I think it does add a little bit of a richer quality to my shadows, and it elevates the dynamic tones in the sketch. Now, I'm not going to be adding a lot of this color, but just enough into the deep shadows to add that little bit of extra interest. And that's it. There's my final sketch. I hope you try this sketch out for yourself, and if you haven't already, please give this video a like and subscribe.